They say applause is the most beautiful sound in the world, but they are wrong. When that applause is for someone who stole your soul, it is the cruelest sound imaginable. It feels like 1,000 needles piercing your pride. Tonight, in Chicago, 24-year-old Leo Sterling is learning that painful lesson, right in front of 500 elite guests. Welcome to the 20th anniversary of Vance architecture. Champagne, caviar, and fake smiles worth millions of dollars. The man on stage is Carter Vance, known to the world as an architectural tycoon. But Leo knows him by a more accurate name, the Great Parasite. Leo stands in the shadows, wearing an ill-fitting suit, holding a glass of water. He looks like a ghost. Despite being the heir to the fortune his mother built, Leo is treated as an unpaid intern. He is invisible. He waits for his stepbrother, Brody, to present his new design. Leo spent 3 sleepless months fixing that design, hoping for a shred of validation. On stage, Brody announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the masterpiece that will change the Chicago skyline, the Millennium Tower." The screen lights up. Leo's eyes widen. His hands tremble. That isn't the design he helped fix. That is Project Helix, Leo's own secret project, developed on his private laptop for 2 years. Every curve, every speck, even the flaw in the east foundation he hadn't fixed yet, it was all there. Brody hacked his computer. He stole everything. Overcome with desperation, Leo rushes the stage. "That's mine! Stop! That's my design!" Silence falls. Carter Vance steps down, calm and cold. He doesn't yell. He plays the role of the heartbroken father perfectly. He whispers to Leo, "You forgot your medication again, didn't you?" Leo screams, "You know the truth! Look at the parameters on floor 40! My hidden signature is in the layer!" Carter sighs into the microphone, shaking his head. "I tried to protect you, son. I gave you a job. I fed you. But for you to hallucinate and claim your brother's work, I can no longer enable this behavior." Carter leans in close, whispering so only Leo can hear. "Who will believe a penniless brat? You're just a guard dog, and I don't need you barking anymore." Then aloud to the crowd, "Security, please escort him out to clear his head. Leo is no longer an employee or a member of this family." Dragged out into the freezing Chicago rain, Leo is thrown onto the concrete. His employee badge lands in a puddle of mud. Penniless, humiliated, disowned. Most people would break here, but as Leo stares into the rain, the look of a victim fades from his eyes. Carter made a fatal mistake. He thought Leo was weak. He didn't know that tonight, Leo Sterling died, and an architect of revenge was born. Chicago has 2 faces. The face of glass and steel, where Carter Vance rules, and the face of brick and buried secrets. Leo finds himself at the door of Arthur Hastings, the city's most eccentric lawyer, a man who has waited 15 years for Leo's knock. Inside the dusty office, Hastings pours 2 glasses of cheap whiskey. "You're 3 hours late," the old man grumbles. "I thought you'd be here the moment you got kicked out." "You knew?" Leo asks, shivering. "I know everything, kid. I know Carter stole your design, and I know you're hungry." Hastings throws a thick file onto the table. Dust flies into the air. The gold lettering reads, "The Sterling Trust." Leo opens it. His eyes scan the numbers. 50 million. 100 million. Total valuation $500 million. "My mother," Leo stammers. "She didn't have this kind of money." She was the sole heiress to the Sterling real estate empire, Hastings reveals. When Carter married her, he didn't marry her for love. He married her for this.
When she passed, the money went to you. But Carter forged medical records claiming you were mentally unstable. He appointed himself your guardian to siphon off the cash. I realized the truth. The pills Carter forced me to take, the insults, it wasn't hatred, it was strategy. Carter needed Leo to be weak to keep the money flowing. I want to sue him, Leo says, his voice low with rage. Hastings shakes his head. A lawsuit takes 5 years. Carter will use your own money to fight you. Do you want justice or do you want punishment? Leo looks up, his eyes cold. Punishment. Good, Hastings smiles. Verse Architecture is drowning in debt. They are desperate for an investor to save the Millennium Tower project, the one they stole from you. You have the money, they need the money, but they don't know you control the trust. Hastings hands Leo a black business card with a single silver letter. L. Tonight we play the Trojan horse. Leo Sterling is dead. Meet Mr. L, the mysterious investor from New York. A montage of transformation begins. The messy hair is cut, the stubble shaved, the cheap clothes replaced by a bespoke Italian suit. Leo puts on gold-rimmed glasses, hiding his innocence behind a mask of sharp intellect. Looking in the mirror, Leo whispers, "Stepfather wants an investor? I'll give him an investor he will regret for the rest of his life." The hunt begins.
A fleet of black Rolls-Royces pulls up to the Vance Architecture headquarters. Carter and Brody wait nervously at the entrance. They need this deal. Without the Sterling Trust's money, they are bankrupt. Leo steps out of the car. Navy blue suit, dark sunglasses. He removes the glasses and looks straight at them. They pause, but they don't recognize him. They only remember a frantic, messy boy. They don't see the predator standing before them. "Mr. Vance," Leo speaks with a polished upper-class accent. "I am L, representative of the Sterling Trust." Carter shakes his hand eagerly. "A pleasure. Please, come in." In the boardroom, Leo takes the head of the table. He dominates the room. "I've seen your financials. You're $40 million in debt. I'm only here for the Millennium Tower design." Brody puffs out his chest. "My masterpiece, the double helix structure." "The helix," Leo interrupts coldly. He walks to the architectural model. "I have a technical question, Brody. At 150 meters, the wind shear is massive. Yet, on the east foundation, you used single bore piles instead of double friction piles. In a Category 10 storm, this tower snaps in half. How do you explain this load-bearing choice?" Brody freezes. He stammers. He doesn't know. He only stole the drawings. He doesn't understand the physics. Leo turns to Carter with a smirk. "Is this your genius architect? He's risking lives to cut costs." Carter panics. "It's just a drafting error. We will fix it immediately. Please trust our vision." Leo sits back down. "Fine. We will invest $100 million. But because of this incompetence, I need insurance." He slides a new contract across the table. Clause 10.5. You mortgage all personal assets, including your home and 51% of your company shares, and, most importantly, absolute veto power. If there are any delays or technical errors, the trust takes over the company immediately. The room goes silent. Carter looks at the contract. Greed clouds his judgment. He grabs the pen. Scratching his signature on the paper, he unknowingly signs his own death warrant. "Pleasure doing business."
Leo says, shaking Carter's hand with a crushing grip. By the way, I'll be sending auditors next week to check the last 5 years of cash flow. Just a formality. You don't mind, do you? Carter forces a smile, sweating. Of course not. We are transparent. I hope so, Leo says, turning to leave. I hate thieves, and I hate liars. As the elevator doors close, Leo catches his reflection. The trap is set. Now he tightens the noose.
Judgment Day doesn't come with thunder. It comes with the rustle of paper in a boardroom. It is the day of the merger signing. Carter and Brody are celebrating. Suddenly, the doors burst open. Leo walks in, followed by Hastings and 2 police officers. He slams a thick audit report onto the table. "Mr. L., what is the meaning of this?" Carter demands. "The agenda has changed," Leo says calmly. "We are not discussing a merger. We are discussing a purge." Hastings turns on the projector. A complex web of money laundering appears on the screen. "We found $15 million embezzled to offshore accounts, money stolen from the Sterling Trust to cover your company's losses." "That's a lie," Carter screams. "I am the legal guardian. I have the right to invest that money." Based on forged medical records, the doctor who signed those papers confessed to the police this morning. The room erupts in whispers. Brody stands up, pointing at Leo. "Who are you to interfere? I am the architect here. The Millennium Tower is mine." "Yours?" Leo looks at him with pity. "Then explain to the board why there is hidden code in layer 50 of the digital blueprint." Leo types a password into the laptop. M-O-M. On the big screen, the architectural lines rearrange themselves to spell out massive letters. "Property of Leo Sterling." Brody collapses into his chair. The truth is undeniable. Carter stares at Leo, his face draining of color. "You know the password. You aren't L. You are." Leo takes off his gold glasses. He slicks his hair back, revealing the familiar face of the boy they tormented. "Hello, father," Leo says. "You called me a parasite, but look closely. Who is living off whom now?" Leo picks up the contract Carter signed. "Per clause 10.5, due to financial fraud, the Sterling Trust, which is me, is triggering the immediate takeover of Vance Architecture." He nods to the officers. The handcuffs click cold and hard around Carter's wrists. "Leo, you can't do this," Carter screams as he is dragged away. "I raised you." Leo whispers into his ear. "You gave me a roof so you could steal my foundation. Don't worry, I chose a new roof for you. The state prison is very sturdy." As Carter is hauled out, disgraced, Leo stands alone in the quiet boardroom. The rain has stopped. The sun is breaking through the clouds over Chicago. The empire has fallen.
When a building collapses, dust fills the air. But when the dust settles, you have a clear plot of land to build something new. Carter Vance was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but the story doesn't end behind bars. It ends with how the survivors choose to live. At a dusty construction site on the outskirts of Chicago, a worker struggles to push a heavy wheelbarrow of bricks. He is thin, sunburnt, and sweating. It is Brody Vance. The former prince of architecture is learning the weight of a single brick. Leo didn't send Brody to jail. He gave him a harder sentence, the reality of manual labor. A black SUV pulls up. Leo steps out, wearing a white hard hat. He is here to inspect the new social housing project. He spots Brody. Brody looks down, ashamed. "Did you come to laugh at me, Leo?" "I came to check the foundation," Leo replies. "Is it heavy?" "It is," Brody admits, wiping sweat from his brow. "I never knew. Why didn't you destroy me completely? Why am I not in a cell like Dad?" "Because prison is easy," Leo says.
handing Brody a cold bottle of water. "I want you out here. I want you to feel what it's like to be the people you used to look down on. That isn't revenge, Brody. That is rehabilitation." Leo turns to leave. "Do a good job. If you mix the cement wrong, I'll fire you like anyone else." For the first time, Brody looks at Leo with respect instead of jealousy. He drinks the water and goes back to work. 3 years later, Leo stands on the rooftop of Hope Tower, a nonprofit building he funded. Hastings stands beside him. "Your mother would be proud," the old lawyer says. "You didn't just reclaim the money, you reclaimed the name." Leo smiles at the Chicago skyline. "Carter taught me one thing, Hastings. The most important blueprint isn't on paper. It's the blueprint of your conscience. And today, I think the construction is finally complete." In life, people will throw stones at you. You can use them to build a wall, or you can use them to build a bridge. Leo Sterling chose to build a tower. What will you build from the rubble of your life?